So for the last year, I've been making videos, hoping to inspire people, sharing my story, and trying to give the information that I have learned over a long battle with my weight. But I haven't really talked about why. What brings me here? Why now? A little over a year ago, I was at my grandparents' house, and my late grandfather looked at me and said, "Did you hear about Teresa?" That's not a name I had heard in over 15 years, but I knew exactly who he was talking about. So I have to go back a little bit to explain this. The story actually starts in 2004. I was 475 pounds, I couldn't walk, I was agoraphobic, and I had been a shut-in for years. My father got cancer and died quite suddenly. I found myself wobbly walking into a funeral home, completely in shock having just lost my father, completely in shock because I hadn't left the house in years, and completely in shock because I didn't realize how physically I deteriorated and I could barely move. It was a giant ordeal just getting from the car inside and finding a place where I could sit. They had a really, really big oversized chair that they brought out. It's the same one that they had to bring in for the funeral. It was wooden, and I was still scared because it cracked every time I sat. I was always afraid to move when I sat because my weight was so massive. Many chairs have broken, and there's nothing more humiliating to me. This nice lady sat across from me, very kind, very compassionate, and she's explaining everything, all of the funeral services they offer, the burial, the visitation. Then she very delicately asked how we'd be paying for this. My father didn't have any life insurance. I looked down and I said, "I don't know. What can I do?" She explained the cost of the funerals and everything, and I couldn't. She told me to wait a moment, and she left the room. So I waited. She came back in and she sat across from me and she put her hand on my leg. She said, "Dustin, I'm going to give your father a free funeral. I'm going to give him a free visitation, and I'm going to give him a free burial in your town so you can go and visit him." And she said, "All that I ask is that when you go forward, if someone needs your help, that you help them." And I said, "I will." And I went throughout my life and I tried to do that. This was over 15 years ago. So bring it back to last year, and my grandpa said, "Did you hear what happened to Teresa?" And I said, "No, what?" And he said, "She passed away." And I said, "That's awful. What happened?" She got so big that she could no longer run her funeral home, and she tried to lose weight, and she couldn't. Her health complications continued to get worse, and she finally passed away. I recorded my first journey when I lost the weight, and I failed publicly. And that shame stuck with me for a really long time, and it scared me. I didn't want to share again. I was afraid the same thing would happen. I doubted myself. Up until that moment, I didn't even have enough confidence to say in front of anyone that I thought I could help anyone. But at the moment that I heard that, the first thing I said out loud was that I could have helped her. I should have helped her. If only I knew. It shook me. I went home that night, and I said, I'm not going to let that happen again. And that's why I'm here. This one simple act of kindness changed the course of my entire life. So now I ask this of you. If you've ever gotten any help from my videos at all, I ask that if you're ever in a position to help someone, and you can, that you do it.